A project proposal is the first step in illustrating your team's capacity in winning the deal and ultimately receiving funding for your ideas. The proposal is a document that you prepare for the client or donor to convince them that you are the perfect fit for them. A proposal has many different parts, and it can be confusing at times, as definitions are very specific and applicants need to be familiar with the vocabulary. In the crowded and competitive world of project bidding leading to project acquisition for your organization, it is important to have a proposal that shines and distinguishes itself from the many others that need to be special and specifically well-crafted. But what makes a good project proposal? I'm going to briefly give you 8 best tips for a great proposal. If you follow these steps and are persistent in your effort to get better, be confident success will eventually come. Point 1, having compelling content. There are many things that can enhance a proposal, but still, the most important part is to simply have compelling content. If your proposal is perfect in every formal aspect, but your program or project does not make sense or the content is not coherent, you will always fail. It is very important to pay enough attention to all the technicalities, but your first focus should be on developing rich, robust, and significant content that convinces the client or donor to fund you. Point number 2. Work on the proposal as a team. Proposal writing is teamwork. While one person should have the overview and be responsible for the writing of the proposal, all the resources that are available to you should be utilized. People in different positions in your organization have different knowledge and can contribute different things. The project officer knows most about the nitty-gritty of the actual project. The finance office or the accountant can help you with the budget. The marketing team can contribute to consumer or prospect data and provide case studies and so on and so forth. Even if your team is not huge, you should work on your proposal together. It is very easy to develop a blind spot if you work on such an important task alone. Diversity breeds innovation. And when more people have an understanding of the project and are encouraged to contribute to their diverse and unique perspectives, your proposal will be enriched. Tip number 3, make sure you use the right terminology. When you want to write a good proposal, make sure that the right terminology is utilized. Many times when submitting a proposal, candidates are not clear on their own organization's mission, vision, goals, and objectives, and they'll mix them up. But what's even worse is when one is not clear and mixes up the vision or mission, goals, and objectives of the organization or donor that the proposal is being written and developed for. And the same is true for expected outcomes or output and impact. Make certain that you clearly understand all these terms and use them in the right sense. If you are not sure, do your research before you even start the writing. Tip number 4, use data and case studies to make your point. A proposal is a document with which you are there to try to convince a client or donor that you have the capacity to develop a project to be supported by them with their money. Your case will always be stronger if you base your assumptions on data and facts. Do your homework before you start and find out which case studies or scientific paper can support your argumentation. Use them to support your point. Maybe you can also use your own data from previous projects or from baseline study to make your case stronger. Tip 5, use visuals, pictures, and graphics. While it's important to have compelling content, pictures and graphics can be utilized to further support your point. As the saying goes, a picture can tell more than 1,000 words. Make sure that your visuals support the point of your proposal and that they strengthen your argumentation. Do not overdo it though. Too many pictures or graphics can quickly become overwhelming. There is a caveat. Some clients or donors do not want pictures or graphics in a proposal, specifically in the first application stages. So prior to using visuals, be certain that it is okay with the potential client or donor. Tip 6, use storytelling. Storytelling is becoming an important and standard tool in proposal writing. When you tell a story, the reader can more easily relate with your text. Stories can be very personal and touching while still making a bigger point. If you use case stories and storytelling in your proposal, your text will stand out amongst other proposals that only rely on facts. If you can get a client or a donor to personally get involved with your story, your chances of success will increase exponentially. However, when you use stories, make sure that they fit in with your broader ideas. It is good to use case stories to demonstrate a specific problem or a situation, but they need to be embedded into the project in order for it to make sense. Tip 7, pay good attention to your project budget. It cannot be stressed enough how important the budget in a proposal is. Many people or organizations do not like or are uncomfortable with this task, and they do not pay enough attention to it. But it is vitally important to the project. Think of the budget as a description of your project in numbers. Make sure that you choose the right format for the budget and stick with it. Develop the budget with the proposal to make sure that you do not forget anything. Have someone check the math and the coherence before the budget is finalized. Working internationally, as many of us do, make sure the right currency is included. If you feel like you need to give more information, add a budget narrative. And again, double check the numbers. And last but not least, tip number 8. Have someone proofread your application. I know that this may seem like a no-brainer, but before you submit your proposal, you should always have someone else proofread it. Even if you feel comfortable with your language and grammar skills, you should give your proposal to someone else, anyone else. When you work hard on a document for a while, sometimes even the very obvious typos can slip by you. And you don't want to be that organization that has submitted a proposal with a typo in the title. It also makes sense to have someone proofread your proposal who's not familiar with the project. This way, you'll find out if it's understandable for an outsider. And remember that the people that you submit this to, they're outsiders. Pay specific attention to the budget and make sure that your math is right. Also, give a copy of guidelines to your proofreaders. This way, they can check if everything is included. Listen, the main purpose of a project proposal is to get buy-in from the decision makers. That's why a project proposal outlines your project's core value proposition. It sells value to both the internal and external project stakeholders. The intent of the proposal is to grab the client and the sponsor's attention. Once you have people's attention, project proposals are just the first step in the project planning process. Once your project is approved, you have to solidify the plan, allocate and manage resources, monitor the project, and finally, hand in your deliverables. But have confidence that following these 8 tips, you get closer to winning that project.